So there's been some interesting times in this part of 2020. We're almost halfway of this year, and things have been really weird and interesting at the same time because of stuff like the pandemic and everything surrounding it. A lot of events been canceling, this and that, but seems like some interesting things have been coming out from this whole situation. But today, of course, this being gaming related, I did want to touch upon online tournaments once again, kind of deriving from the Evo Online sort of conversation that I mentioned from the previous video. First off, yes, Evo Online is definitely still happening, and the four games that have the robust net code are being showcased as the frontliners. They are the stars of the show, while the main lineup, well, the previous main lineup anyway, are kind of taking a backseat, like right behind them. You know what I mean? Like they're not exactly like out of the picture here, but they're not the main stars. I think that's at this point a pretty solid like statement, I guess you can say. It really just shows how finicky the netcode is in comparison to these four games. And there's like a couple more that do have good netcode and all that stuff, but I guess you can only have so much in 1 month. But anyway, and this is also new, so I don't think they want to like overwhelm themselves. You know what I mean? So I think it is for the best. There will be games that will be missed out. That's just the nature of things for tournaments anyway, especially on this caliber. But anyway, online tournaments, man, they seem to be, starting to shine, for this year. They really start to shine, making sense with the situation right now with COVID-19. It all sort of just started with Smash Brothers first off, despite Smash Brothers having some of the worst experiences as a major game, people are still passionate enough, and they still run these tournaments. And yes, there have been some major hiccups in these, experiences, especially during grand finals and the top eight or whatever, with the disconnects and all that stuff. That's those are the lowlights of online tournaments, but it really does show that it can work, and that's where the better netcode games kind of come in at this point, and really show that these online tournaments should be around as much as the offline tournaments. I really think that this is definitely the beginning of online tournaments. This is the beginning of an era. And it's kind of poetic, seeing that this is a brand new decade, and under some circumstances that could have gone better. I would love to see something else that would cause a spark to kind of start this whole sort of trend or era or whatever. It is what it is, and this is still, nonetheless, in my eyes, a pretty solid beginning of what's to come for online tournaments. Online tournaments have always been sort of played around with, I guess. People always bring these up in conversations when it comes to the FGC, but people always kind of brushed it away because, of course, playing in real life, mano a mano or whatever, person to person, and that's like the most authentic experience you can get playing these games, and without being able to react to these things or whatever may be. And of course, online there's always some sort of delay or whatever it is, so that really causes people to sort of stereotype these online tournaments or these ideas, so that they're not gonna always be the 1-to-1 or anything like that. But I think we really need to start putting those things aside and see it for really what it is, to see the real big picture here of what online tournaments can really do to contribute to keeping the spirit of the competitive FGC and or just competition in general and across gaming. This definitely could apply to across many other genres as well, and not just the fighting games. You know, the shooting game, the FPSs and all the battle royales and what have you. They can start taking notes of this thing. There might have been some sort of online competition across other games, but either way, though, I think this is no matter how you look at it, the beginning of what's to really come for online tournaments. I think this is really the time to shine for obvious reasons, you know, especially for this time around. And to me personally, I think that's pretty cool. It really brings opportunities for people who literally can't travel. There are, you know, places where, you know, especially at a time like this, that have limited opportunities to have the ability to travel out to such places such as, you know, the US and stuff. And so these online tournaments can open these doors for people to be able to show off at least, you know, a notable degree of their skills, and then bring them to the table and put themselves in the spotlight and whatever. I mean, that's absolutely an opportunity for them to do so. And, you know, having that in thought is something that sounds really cool. I really think that online tournaments should be considered as much as offline tournaments from this point on. Even Joey Queller recently put out a tweet, or I think Evo Twitter put out a tweet about, you know, these online tournaments have enough traction. They will definitely consider, you know, putting these out more and more for, you know, the future. And I think there is enough for there are more than enough benefits of online tournaments to already, you know, be a relevant part of these competitions. And even with the most recent announcement from Capcom Pro Tour, they're now at this point are taking it all online. From what I can remember from the top of my head, is they're gonna take, you know, the previous winner from the previous Capcom Cup. So I think it, you know, IDOM, right? So and then the rest of the competitors will have to, you know, kind of play their way, or, you know, compete their way to gaining these spots. And then I think the last spot is a fan poll, so they want, you know, they are giving that opportunity to anyone who deserves it in the eyes of the majority, let's just say, for of the community, and try to see if they can bring their favorite player and have the chance to, you know, show up in Capcom Pro Tour online, and along with, you know, the rest of the competition for Capcom Cup. I think that's what's gonna happen. So in total, there's gonna be 20 players this time around, instead of the usual 32, was it? So I think this is definitely better than nothing. This is still kind of keeping the Capcom Pro Tour competition sort of alive, the spirit of things, just like what Evo is trying to do for this year as well. But again, really, either way, this is paving a way for online tournaments. But now, of course, this being the beginning of things, there's always going to be some bumps on the road and hurdles to be hopped over and mistakes to be had and learned from, right? So we're going to run into some problems, of course, and nothing's going to be perfect at first. But once really, you know, all those squeaks and all the little stuff that needs to get fixed and oiled again, that machine will start, you know, turning the cogs and gears and stuff like that. It'll start really kind of, you know, get things going. So at that point, you know, online tournaments are just going to be another thing. It's just going to be the norm at this point. And it also really, you know, really puts down, you know, the need and demand for a good, robust netcode for across, you know, all these fighting games. But, you know, perhaps for other games as well. Maybe perhaps they'll, you know, take a look at this, take notes from fighting games, and say, maybe we can, you know, take these things and put it into our game, and then you know, have our own competition or whatever, have our own competitive sort of scene or whatever it is. Maybe, possibly, right? But you know, that's just all just kind of just theory crafting from now. But I think it is either way, it is safe to say that the online tournaments is going to be the new big thing for this decade when it comes to the competitive FGC anyway. So again, I think this is all cool. I'm all for it. I love to, you know, check out the, you know, the competition once more for this decade, and looking forward to what they're going to have and stuff when it comes to online tournaments and stuff. Maybe perhaps down the road, maybe I'll take the opportunity to do so, to maybe compete in Smash online. I think that would be pretty cool, right? Like, you can compete from the comfort of your home, and you know, like, be able to live stream yourself and really kind of give a very interesting perspective on things when it comes to the viewers, to see what it's really like to be part of the competition without having to be so, in a way, you know what I mean? Like, it really shows what the emotions that these players go through, or you know, what the players can tell you and stuff like that. They can like drop some like commentary or feedback, or like just like tips and stuff like that. Like, oh, this happens, and this is such and such happens. You know, I feel like this and stuff like that. And other than that, though, it really shows, you know, just like real-time sort of reactions with the players as they are, you know, getting hit, or giving the hits to, you know, to their opponent or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just gonna open a lot of doors to this sort of content pool, I guess, when it comes to online tournaments. And I think, you know, this is gonna be a beginning of something really cool, in my opinion. So and I really hope to God that, you know, again, this is gonna be like a wake-up call for all the major developers of fighting games to be like, okay, we really need to really consider netcode to be a part of our, you know, criteria and stuff like that, to develop a more robust game all around for offline and online. And you know, hopefully, you know, Arxis can be the start of that too. Like, really show that, hey, this is something, you know, we all should consider, you know, with the implementation of their rollback netcode or whatever. But we'll see how that rollback netcode is, if it's the one that we've been all waiting for a major fighting game like this. And yeah, that's really all I got for right now for online tournaments being, you know, having this sort of beginning and stuff. Definitely, it's a possibility that we're going to see for this decade, you know what I mean? So it's all just so funny and kind of weird, and I don't know, interesting that it took a pandemic to really get this thing going, you know what I mean? Again, it is what it is, and I guess it's gonna happen, man. And EVO Online is going to be the major star of that once again, because, you know, EVO is always like that Super Bowl. It's the you know, the biggest name out there when it comes to fighting game tournaments, and you know, they're going online as well. So that's really going to like kind of paint sort of the standards of how they're going to really do things. And again, this is all cool to me. I'm all for it, and I hope to see, you know, more benefits pop out that we would never think of, right? You know, as this situation. So let me guys know what you think about online tournaments. This is probably a good, you know, a good start, or in the beginning of an era of online tournaments. If you have any like unique opinions or comments or anything like that, leave them down below. I love to check them out. They're always welcome. I welcome different perspectives if you have any. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and you know the drill for watching YouTube videos. That's pretty much the most helpful way to really support the YouTubers out there, especially the smaller ones anyway. But anyway, also there is one announcement I want to make for the channel. I have opened an account for Display, which for those who don't know, it's a website where they sell these like metal posters with really awesome artwork. I don't have one myself just yet, but I do have one artwork up there. Kind of an experiment, and I don't know if anyone wants to grab that one right away, but I'll be sure to kind of upload more and more if you guys are interested. If you guys want to see some more artwork from me, on a display or something like that. For those who don't know, yes, I do draw, and I kind of want to have more opportunities to draw, to put up on some websites like this, to see if people want to buy themselves a metal poster and hang it up on their wall and stuff like that. So but let me know what you guys think. What should I do with this? And if you have any suggestions with Display or anything else, leave them down below. Those are also welcomed as well. So but anyways, this has been the Hawke Talks episode, talking about online tournaments, and this being pretty much the beginning of the era of online tournaments. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.